right, guys, welcome back. This is episode 258, and we're doing a solo episode today. You guys know we like to throw those in every 5 to 10 episodes, and I think some of the things that I've been thinking about this last couple weeks are going to be well received by the Endless Endeavor audience. And so let's just hit it right out of the gates, because I wanted today's episode to really be focused on the Forge Collective. And I know I touched on it in the ads last week, but it is live now. It is out. It's available. And the Forge Collective is an excellence in camaraderie summit for men. And we're going to go into that momentarily. But the thing that I find interesting is in relation to this morning's Instagram post. And so this morning I posted a picture, and it's a picture of a skeleton looking up. It's sitting in a field, and it says, "My problem is I want to be spiritually evolved and beat people up too." And on one hand, it like gives a good laugh, right? It's kind of funny, but fuck, this goes pretty hard too. It's pretty deep, right? And apparently it goes hard with my followers on Instagram as well, because it's only been up, I don't know, it's 1:20 in the afternoon. I posted it sometime this morning, and it has 410 shares. So that resonates with people. My problem is I want to be spiritually evolved and beat people up too. And guys, fuck, isn't that the Endless Endeavor? One of the major components of finding balance in who you are as a man is figuring out that balance right there. That balance right there for me is probably one of my biggest struggles. And it's easy to sit here and say like, "Oh, I want to chase love and light and peace and happiness and harmony, high vibrations, all the things that we are seeking for what?" I think we are seeking those because if we seek those things, our existence on this earth and the existence that we share with our friends and our family is going to be a more enjoyable existence. I mean, at the end of the day, isn't that what we're seeking as men? Aren't we looking to increase our level of happiness, joy, pleasure, wealth, the things that embolden us and empower us as men? Now, we talk about it on the show all the time. We are no stranger to the struggle, the adversity, the hardship, climbing from the pit when you've reached rock bottom. Like, we talk about that stuff very, very often. But why is it that we understand rock bottom is good for us, struggle is good for us, failure is good for us, but we continuously seek the love, the light, and the peace? And as I delve into this today, guys, I want to open up by saying this. I fucking say it all the time. I'm not your guru. Like, what I'm about to tell you is more, it's getting hot in here. I'll pull this coat off. What I'm about to tell you is more rooted in simply personal opinion, and then kind of just on a journey of trying to figure out what is optimal. And I haven't arrived at that yet. I haven't arrived at that yet because I think balancing the dark and the light to an optimal level is a lifelong journey. I don't think there's an arrival point. I think we're constantly weighing back and forth between the two of those things. And we have to figure out where between those two scales serves us optimally. So it got me thinking, I want to beat people up too, right? Now, I kind of joke because like we beat people up every night here at the Academy, and I get to be on usually the giving end of that just because of how long I've been training. But there's also days, I talked about it a couple podcasts ago, where a visitor came in and he mopped up my own mats with me. So I still am intimately familiar with what it's like to be on both ends of that, right? And jiu-jitsu is a socially acceptable place to get out that fight that's in us, that need to, quote, beat people up. Why does that exist if it's not good? Why does that exist in our hearts and in our desires if it's rooted in evil? Now, people will say, like, oh, the devil's always trying to get you, right? I don't think the desire to compete against other men, to engage in combat against other men, and even the desire for violence against other men is necessarily something that's rooted in evil. I think it's, instead of saying good or bad, I think it's more of just a dichotomy of life. And, there's a lot of quotes going around. It's like the Jordan Peterson quote saying, a good man must be dangerous, because if he's not dangerous, he's not a good man. He's just simply a victim of circumstances. He's not making a choice to be a good man. Or like General Mattis that says, treat everyone with respect, but have a plan to kill everyone in the room. There's always some aspect about being a man that doesn't come into completion until we become formidable. And that's just the facts of life. Like, that isn't even an aspect of being a man that we can really debate. I can tell you from personal experience, as I grew into somebody that held a decent amount of capabilities and became someone that would be considered formidable when compared to most men, my life got easier. People started treating me with more respect. People started speaking to me differently. The more formidable you become as a man, the more respect you will gain from the members of your community. But here's the little trick that I think a lot of us are missing. Being formidable is one side of the scale to gain the respect of your peers and your community and your family. But the other side of the scale is exactly what we were just referring to, is seeking stillness, seeking peace, seeking love, seeking light, seeking community, like the things that bring us joy in our heart. And they're not completely separate from each other as well. Because sometimes competing, sometimes combat, sometimes struggle, it does bring that joy to the heart. So what I'm thinking about today, guys, is what's your relationship like with that dichotomy? What are your understandings of these two sides of yourself, the light and the darkness, you and your shadow? I'm not saying I have it all figured out. I never do on this show. Me and Tyler have taken some deep dives down some weird rabbit holes when it comes to plant medicine and spiritual growth. And even as I sit here and talk to you guys about these things and share perspectives that I know help people, because I've seen it play out time and time and time again with people that reach out to me and tell me a story of success once they started to chase this new version of themselves. I know that it works. But just because we have one plan that works doesn't mean we have a full comprehensive understanding of it. And it also doesn't mean that we can't continuously hone those principles or those practices and make them much better. I mean, the truth is maybe we don't know what the fuck we're doing barely at all. We're literally just getting started as men trying to grow into our most powerful selves. A perfect jiu-jitsu analogy is take any one of us, just me, for example, who was 8 months into my white belt. When I was 8 months into my white belt, I became a decent grappler pretty fast. And that's because a lot of the intangibles of jiu-jitsu, base, fitness, strength, mobility, I showed up with a lot of things that translate to jiu-jitsu well, and I got good relatively short amount of time. Good being relative, right? Relative to the other white belts or relative to people that have never trained at all, and even relative to some of the blue belts, right? But my point is, when we go into a path of growth, you can actually acquire a decent amount of skill or knowledge and become somewhat proficient at it. You know, when you're a 4-stripe white belt, you are somewhat proficient at jiu-jitsu when you are comparing yourself to the guy in the trial class. But jiu-jitsu never really fully came together for me. I didn't have a comprehensive understanding of it until well into black belt. So we're looking literally 12, 13, 14, 15 years later when I can stand up and know in my heart beyond the shadow of a doubt, man, I have a very comprehensive understanding of jiu-jitsu. And even then, it doesn't mean I have it all figured out. So when we share this side of being a man, let's be honest with each other. I think we can share very good perspectives. I think we can guide and help illuminate a good path for a lot of people. But we also may not know where that path is leading. We may not have a comprehensive understanding of where that path takes us yet. And guys, that's okay. We say it all the time on the show. If you're seeking being better than you were yesterday, guess what? When you wake up tomorrow, that's a win. We can consider that a win. Regardless if you're growing by 0.0001% or you're growing by leaps and bounds. And so, in relation to balancing the darkness and the light, I've arrived at a point where I can very comfortably and authentically tell you guys, I've gotten very good control over the darkness inside of me. You guys haven't heard me fucking sit in my podcast and scream, "You motherfuckers, I want to fucking cut your head off with a chainsaw." Like, fuck, like that energy inside of me has been under control for a decent, like maybe even a year or two now. I hear people all the time that reach out to me and they're like, "Bro, it's been interesting watching your growth and your journey as a listener, because it's very obvious that you're on the journey right alongside us. We're watching you change. We're feeling energy shift. It's very obvious, right? But just because I have control of that wild animal that wants to be let out of the box and fucking do some pretty dark things, just because I have control of it, I'm here to tell you the thoughts that are going on between my ears are still pretty fucking dark at times. If I said out loud some of the things that have been going through my head these last 6 months, I'd probably get fucking locked up. And that's not a joke. I still feel things extremely, extremely hard. I still have very, very powerful emotional responses to things that feel out of alignment with truth, that feel out of alignment with my trajectory, that feel, this is the big one, that feel like they're trying to change my trajectory back down towards a negative path. That's the biggest one for me, guys. When I feel there are people in my life that are trying to take this trajectory of growth and goodness and they try and drag it back down to where they're at, that gets fucking dark for me. Because most people that are trying to drag you back down, that is one of the most ill intentions that you can hold for someone else. Hey, I see this person doing well. Watch this. Let's go fuck this guy over. Some people in the last year have literally made a conscious choice to simply try and fuck me over. Because what? Because they disagree with some county regulation. Or they think that my business expanded at a rate that is too fast for the county's acceptable size of my business is based on how we're zoned. Like all these little bullshit things that we've talked about before. I'm not going to go into detail on them. But fuck, man, like when you take something that somebody has created, that's their passion, that's their love, and someone tries to diminish that or destroy that or take that from you, you want to talk about you want to talk about the darkness taking a seat front and center? That'll do it. And the reason that I just decided to kind of wing it and bring this up today is because today, literally an hour ago, my buddy that runs the CrossFit gym on our property got a phone call from a gentleman, and he said, "Hey, I think your signage out front is not congruent with county code regulations." And he goes, "Well, I don't own the property, so I can't really help you." "Well, who does?" And he goes, "It's Greg." So then the guy reaches out to me and calls me from a private number, of course. Anytime you're trying to stir shit in someone's life, what do people do? They hide like fucking pussies. That's what they do. Calls me from a private number to voice his displeasure, but he doesn't leave a message. And the reason that I know it was him is because he called me right after he called my buddy. He gave him my information. And when he called my buddy, also private number. So this guy just wants to stir shit. And he's not part of the government. It's not a code enforcement officer that's like, "Hey, your signage is too high or whatever the case may be." Guys, I'm a reasonable person. I know there are county regulations that businesses have to comply with. Trust me. I know that better than probably anyone listening because I've been battling it for 2 years. And to tell you the truth, I'm to the point now where if it's in the realm of reasonableness to lower a sign or plant a tree or whatever, just, guys, fuck. Tell me what you need. We'll make it happen and we can go our separate ways. Because option B is put my body armor on and grab my Geisley and say, "Come fucking make me plant a tree." And my brain's always telling me, it's option B time, it's option B time, it's option B time. And then I have to remember I've built a highly successful business that's changing the lives of fucking between CrossFit and jiu-jitsu now, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of families. Do I need to fight to the death over a shrubbery? Oh, fuck. I feel like I'm in Monty Python. So, and I don't know what the answer is. I don't know what the answer is because how long do we allow other men to stir the pot of our life, try and bring problems to our life, try and intentionally diminish the good that I'm trying to create because they had a bad fucking day and they have a stick up their ass? Let me ask you guys this. Is it unreasonable to want to hurt someone that's trying to intentionally destroy your livelihood? Well, I would say up until about 30 years ago, not only was it understood that that's what would happen, but it was expected. You try and fuck somebody over and ruin their livelihood and their ability to feed their family and interject your nose into their fucking business that's none of your fucking business. There's probably a high likelihood that could end in some type of conflict for you. And so we become so nice and so neutered and so tame as men that now we just sit here and let these motherfuckers like this guy calling to stir the shit, stir the pot, because he doesn't think my signage is in accordance with county regulations. Well, hey, motherfucker, I'll let you in on a little secret. Let that transpire between me and the county. How does that work? If the county wants to come and tell me that they think the signage is too high or too close to the roadway, guess what I'll probably do? I'll probably move it a few feet or lower it or whatever it is. But what does it have to do with you? And the answer is fucking nothing. Yet you're calling me, you're calling my tenants, and poking your fucking nose where it doesn't belong. And you know why men fucking do that? Because we become soft and we've allowed it to happen for so long. Mind your own fucking business. Whatever happened to that? Weren't we taught that as like kindergartners? Mind your fucking business. It's on the verge of bringing out Angry Anderson. But here's why it's not fully. Because I honestly think, guys, I honestly swear to God, this is where I'm landing. There is justice and there is love and light in violence. I honestly think if you are a person that wants to intentionally try and diminish other people's passions, other people's livelihoods, if you're intentionally trying to diminish their light that they're shining, because that's what the fuck I'm doing here. I'm shining a light onto my community. And if anybody doubts that, come in on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Spend a couple hours with us, and I won't have to convince you anymore. And when someone wants to stir the pot on your passion project that you know is a beacon for good, how should we deal with that? Now, we live in a society where I know how we deal with that. We just ignore it. Because if you slap somebody for poking their fucking nose in your business and trying to stir up your life, if you even slap them, you're going to jail. We don't allow accountability anymore. Slapping someone that's trying to fuck your life over, in my opinion, is probably the kindest gesture that you could give him. Literally let them know, like, hey, this isn't your fucking problem, so don't poke your fucking nose in it and go about our way. Have you guys ever been on any of the community Facebook threads? Like neighborhoods have, this is the Crosswater thread. This is the Lake Stevens thread. This is the Snohomish thread. There's motherfuckers on there stirring shit that has nothing to do with them 24/7. People walking around, taking pictures of like homeowner association violations and then posting them in the group and saying, oh, look, this house hasn't cut its grass and shit like that. Of course, nobody ever just handles shit man to man. They just passive aggressively. Oh, and here's a little fucking caveat too. That's interesting. Sometimes they're posted anonymously. You can't know who's very, very, very disappointed in your yard status. Like it just comes back down to allowing people to live in this state where they're conniving little rats. And guys, is that love and light? Is that chasing love and light, allowing people to be manipulative little conniving rats that stirs the pot in our community? Is that love and light? I don't know. Or is love and light something that is rooted inside of an element of justice? Like, hey, you want to fuck people over? This is what justice looks like. And here's where it becomes a slippery slope. Because for me, justice is in one hand, and you know what's in the other hand? Your ego. And I don't know which one of those two things is calling me to react. And so you know what you do? Probably do what I do. Nothing. Just try and let it blow over. Just try and ignore it. Just not give energy to it. Not allow it to take any of your attention or impede the trajectory of your growth. And we just ignore it. But when you ignore something that is toxic, does that ever end well? You know, Tyler talks about like if we have a big barrel of water that we all drink out of, and there's a ladle there, and you come up to the barrel and you fill your cup, and it's the community hydration barrel. And one person pours one shot of piss in it. The whole thing is tainted now. Now nobody can receive their water from the barrel. So before that guy walks up and pours the 1 cup of piss into the barrel, what should we do to that person? What do you think we should do to that person? What does that person deserve? And we're going to land on a lot of different outcomes, right? Does that person deserve death? Well, if you're trying to destroy our means of hydration, it's how my kids are literally staying alive, I would argue yes. But if there's 100 other hydration barrels that we can choose from, and he fucked one of them up being a dumbass, does he still deserve death? You guys see what I'm saying? Like it's a weird topic. And I'm not sure where I've landed on things, because the truth is, if you implement any type of justice to any of these people that are intentionally trying to fuck your life over, we all know where that ends. It ends with you in a cage, a concrete cage with bars, because you can't stick up for yourself. They can interject themselves into your life and fuck your life over, but if you interject yourself back, now you're going to jail. And so it's a weird topic, guys. And it's a frustrating topic, but I have continued for the last year to allow myself how would I, in the military, you call it a pregnant pause. And I don't really know what that means. We've been saying it for years. I don't know what it means. But basically, when you're presented with any type of conflict, you take a moment to process. Because the first thing that you want to do is usually rooted in fight or flight. There's times when fight or flight serves you, but there's also times when it can fucking get you in a lot of trouble. So take that moment to process and then say, you know what? I'm going to ignore this guy. Or I'm going to respond with kindness in response to their toxic poison, or whatever the case may be. I can tell you guys, over the last year, I've got very good control over myself, and I don't feel like I'm ready to snap. But just because you have control over those thoughts doesn't mean they don't still exist. And even the people that we look up to that seem to have a massive amount of discipline. Take like a Jocko, for instance. Jocko's never going to get cut off and get out of his car and smash someone's skull. Probably not. We're probably not going to hear that news story. But does it go through his head? And the answer is, I don't know. You'd have to ask him. But I don't know if I could ever get those thoughts out of my head. I think that might just be inherently me. And I think that might be inherently a lot of you. So we get control over them. That's step one, right? And as I get control over them and I become less reactive, now it goes full circle and I start to ask myself, why are we as a whole, not just me, but we as a whole, allowing people to continuously be the people that are trying to pull the people on the path of growth back down into a negative trajectory? And it's something we have to think about. And so I don't need to spend a full fucking hour on that. I just wanted I wanted to incite thought around this topic, because I just don't think there's a path that you will ever get on and then it's smooth sailing from here on out. All right, I got enough money, me and the wife are good, and this is what we're doing and it's all good. Good luck. I just don't think that exists. I don't think it exists in the physical realm, because keeping care of your body is always a journey, facing different seasons of life, facing injuries, whatever the case may be. We don't get on a trajectory of pure goodness in our emotional state, and we certainly don't do it in our spiritual state. So I'm just reluctant when we see people that want to pretend like they got it all figured out. Listen to them, follow me, do as I say. I've figured out the way. And I see those all the time. I see those people all the time on Instagram. And this is a perfect segue into why I created the Forge Collective. Because most people that are trying to create some type of summit, an event, a product, what will they tell you? Buy my 6-step program and you'll have a 6-pack in 8 weeks. And it's like, I doubt it. Buy my program and you'll make $10 million in the next calendar year. Like, everybody has these little slogans, you know? Buy this and your life will just turn into something great. And this is what I found with most men. They're not looking for some gimmicky answer that's going to change their life. Because if I implement an answer into my life that you gave me, guess what it is not? It is not authentic, because that's your answer. Your answer is not my answer. You can't tell me what I need to do to fix the relationship with my wife. Now, don't get me wrong, guys. We can give guidance. We can help each other. We can lean on each other. But this is a truth. This is a truth that I have seen come to fruition time and time again as of lately. And it is this. When men are seeking guidance or men are in need of guidance, very rarely are they looking for a guy like me to stand up and be like, okay, check it out. You need to do this, 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 and this, and then everything's going to be good to go. Because those are my steps. Those aren't your steps. What I have seen play out time and time again is when people are seeking guidance, you literally say, well, what does your heart tell you are the best answers? Or why don't you lay out several different scenarios that you could navigate through this problem with? Let's make 3 scenarios of how we can navigate this problem that you're facing. But I want you to come up with these 3. All right, out of those 3, tell me which one you think is optimal, or maybe tell me the pros and cons of each. You see what we're doing here? We are allowing that person to look into themselves and find what they are seeking. You allow that person the space and the time and the autonomy to really come up with answers to their own question, because I can't answer your fucking question. Only you can. And if you can answer your question with authenticity, that's where the answer lies. Because what do most people do? Where are most people at? They're still stuck in this toxic cycle. They're lying to themselves. They're in a perpetual victim mentality. And they don't have the ability to face themselves in the mirror and say, "What's up, motherfucker?" When you become a leader in your community, and I've become a leader in my community, it's undeniable. I have people come to me all the time with their problems. And why do they do that? They do that because they trust me. They trust me from either listening to this show. That's right. There is trust being built between myself and you. If you've listened to me for 258 episodes, there's trust being developed. And I know this is true because when I meet people that love the show, I give them a hug and I say, "What's up, brother?" And it feels real. The trust is real. But the trust is even more real in my jiu-jitsu academy. Lots of people trust me from what has been created here and how we train here and the tribe that we've built here. And so once you build yourself into a leadership position, but more importantly than being in that position is obtaining the trust of your people. Once you arrive at that point, people will seek guidance and answers from you. Our job as leaders is not to guide people to where we want to go. Who gives a fuck where I want to go? I shouldn't say who gives a fuck where I want to go. You know who gives the absolute most fucks of where I want to go is me. That doesn't mean that you may not be on a similar path and derive some value of some of the things that I've done or the way I've implemented certain strategies. It's not to say we can't help each other, but at the end of the day, you have to look at yourself in the fucking mirror and you have to say, what do I want and how do I get there? Once you can identify what you want, now we're on the phase of how to get there. That's when other people can help you. That's when other people can become mentors or whatever the case may be. But our job as leaders is to help people look inside of themselves. And that's the conclusion I keep drawing. What do you want? What do you think of your marriage? What do you think you need to do to smooth things over with your wife based on the story you just told me? How can you take ownership of the situation? How can you take control of your business? How can you build a strategy to start eating a very comprehensive and healthy diet? You. That is where the power is at when we are helping other people. And guys, I don't know how this is going to work because it's new. And even though I know what I'm saying is rooted in truth, maybe there's not enough people that are interested in you. And they still want to be told what to do. They want the answers to come easy. They want someone else. Because here's the deal, guys. If you don't take ownership of yourself, it's very easy to outsource blame. And that's something we see very often. Oh, well, this guy told me to do this, but it didn't fucking work. And it really fucking fucked my business over. And it's like, okay, well, how many steps back do we have to go before we come back to you? Where's your accountability in all of this? And so if you're a person that still wants to outsource your accountability and outsource your responsibility, don't come to one of my summits. My summits are going to be the opposite of that. It's going to be about you and your choices and accountability around where you landed and what you decided to do. And so let me give you a breakdown of the Forge Collective. Right now, and guys, at the end of the day, it has to be financially viable, right? If it's not financially viable, it can't exist. And that's just the reality of the world that we inhabit right now. But I think in an ideal world, I'm doing one a month. Our first one is June 28th. So it won't be too long after this podcast drops. It'll be 28 days because I think this drops on the last day of May. June 28th, we link up at my Jiu-Jitsu Academy at 8 a.m. and we do 90 minutes of rolling. And guys, let me be very clear that 90 minutes of rolling, it's not going to be comp class, fight to the death. The overwhelming theme of the day is not push people's shit in and break them. There's plenty of things you can go do to do that. That's not what we're doing. We do have to have shared adversity. We do have to go through some hardship together. We do have to face some uncomfortable situations together. That is part of building trust, like we talked about moments ago. But it doesn't have to be pro comp level training. It's just shared training, shared adversity, and going through moments as men that will bond us. So what better way than to start with jiu-jitsu? 90 minutes of jiu-jitsu right out of the gates. As soon as we're done with jiu-jitsu, we're going to do another 90 minutes of somatic breath work. Now we're doing the opposite. We're calming the nervous system. Like literally going through a guided breathwork clinic by a professional. It's not going to be me. I already have a guy lined up for it. And now we're going to take the nervous system and we're going to go ahead and we're going to regulate our nervous system and we're going to be able to enter more of a calm state. Fighting probably put us in fight or flight. Now we're going to intentionally pull ourselves out of that. And after that, we do 90 minutes together. And guys, if you haven't done that, I'm here to tell you, it's going to do something to your physiology that you didn't know was possible. We control so much with our breath. And the truth is, I've only done it a handful of times. I know the power of it. Why don't I do it more? Probably because it comes down to priorities, right? But that's why I'm going to build this into the program. 90 minutes breath work. Then from there, we eat lunch together. We eat lunch together as a team here at the gym, only eating healthy foods. And we're going to share a meal break bread, as they say, even though there won't be bread here. There'll be meat and fruit and maybe a potato for carbohydrate. We're going to eat, share a meal together. Then we're going to go right to my firearm range. From the firearm range, we're going to do just under 2 hours of some basic pistol shooting. Now, if we have to go over safety and fundamentals because people are brand new to shooting, it's going to be a living entity. I'm going to give people what they can take. But don't think of this as some comprehensive introduction to pistol course where you're going to work a lot on your grip and your stance and sight alignment and sight picture and follow through. Like, we're not doing all that. We're going to the range as bros and we're going to have some fun shooting drills. And if you're brand new to pistol, maybe the only thing you learn out of that is how to be safe with a weapon in your hands. Because you're going to be working around other people. Safety is paramount. Safety is key, and it takes precedence over any other aspect on the range. So maybe what you get out of it is watching some other guys do some pretty cool shit during different shooting drills. And when it's your turn to go do yours, you perform in an abysmal manner because it's your first time on the range. My point in saying all this is that we are simply going to go out there and have fun together. Maybe we do the walk back drill. Maybe we do multiple targets on steel, running the shot timer, and just having drills or doing drills that are competitive in nature, but lighthearted and fun. It's like we're rolling on the mats. I'm not competing against you. This is not tournament level jiu-jitsu. We're just having fun. Fuck yeah, I beat you by fucking 0.3 of a second, whatever the case may be. Then from there, we go on a hike. Fucking drop the weapons. We lock everything up and we go on a walk through the woods together for an hour and a half. And guys, I'm here to tell you there's something magical about walking through the woods. And we're not going to go on some of it will be on logging roads, but a lot of it will be on a trail through my property that I've cut. And we're going to go experience being in the woods together as men, talking, laughing, whatever the case may be. And we're going to do that for an hour and a half. At the end, excuse me. At the end of our walk, it's going to take us down to our beach and we're going to get in the river. It's going to be June. The Stillaguamish is always cold. That river never gets what I would call comfortable to swim in. We can swim in it, don't get me wrong, but it's always a little chilly, right? So we're going to get in the river together. We're going to ground ourselves. We're going to allow the water to flow through us and wash away the fucking shit that's stuck to us emotionally, figuratively, like energetically. The cold water feels cleansing, and we're going to do it together. And then I'm going to have my wood fire sauna because, yes, I bought another one because that motherfucker stole the last one. But if you're listening, you think you're going to snag my sauna, fuck you, because I ain't leaving it out there anymore. It'll get set up for use only. And so the wood fire sauna is going to be going, and we're going to fucking come out of there. We're going to cram into that thing like sardines. We're going to warm up. And we're going to spend that time together in the sauna because I'm telling you guys, I have a sauna at the academy. We call it sauna confessionals because post-training, getting in the sauna together, there's something magical about it. People can just fucking like, we're winding down for the day. Now it's not fully relaxing because it's still a little bit of an ass kicker, right? But still, it's not as hard as gnarly fucking rounds with Daniel. And so we're in the sauna together in the gym. And I'm telling you, it is a great bonding experience because I see it nightly. And even when I'm not in, because a lot of times at the end of the day, I focus on cleaning the academy. So I'm vacuuming or mopping, whatever the case may be, but I see all the people in the sauna. I can hear them. Smiles, laughs. That's what we're looking for. So my wood fire sauna will be set up on the beach and we're going to get to experience that. Now, after that, fucking change into a dry pair of clothes. Grab your notebook that's provided by us and walk out into the woods by yourself and do that for 1 hour. And I want you to journal. When you're out in the woods, I want you to journal, and this is the topic. What do you want to bring to campfire discussions tonight that is rooted in growth and value? And what can serve you? What do you need? Open up your heart, look inside. I don't care if it feels selfish. Sometimes it feels selfish to men to say, what do I need? And the reason it feels selfish to some men is because they are conditioned, that they're conditioned to give because their whole life is grinding, burning the candle at both ends, struggling to make ends meet so they can pay for what their family needs. And don't get me wrong, guys, that's all honorable. A lot of times we have to do that. I did that for a lot of my life. But sometimes you get lost in that. You feel that? That's truth right there. Sometimes you get lost in your own struggle because you're giving. And when you say, well, hey, what about me? Sometimes saying, hey, wait a minute, what about me? It almost feels selfish to you, doesn't it? The reason that feels selfish is because we have been conditioned to never prioritize ourselves. I'll sleep when I'm dead. Prioritize everybody else over myself. How's that working out for you? If you're being honest with yourself, it's probably not working out optimally. And I've been in that phase of life. And if you're in that phase of life now, I understand sometimes it's necessary. Sometimes the bills are piling up. I get it, guys. But what I want you to do out in the woods by yourself for this hour, I want you to simply do this. What do I need? And how do I share that with the group of men at the bonfire? And you're going to reflect on what you need for the next hour in the woods, alone, writing it down. And then we converge on the bonfire after that hour. We grill steaks. We eat on the beach. We have our second feast as brothers. And then the conversation starts. This isn't a bonfire where we talk about who won the fucking football game last week. I can use football because I don't enjoy watching that sport. But even who won the UFC fight last week? Doesn't matter. That's another man's dream. That's another man's goal. We're here for your dream and your goal. What do you want? What are you struggling with? What's paralyzing you from taking the next step? What things in your life are so out of alignment that you're stuck? Now we can use this time to identify your traumas or your problems or your issues. Maybe that's where we dive in. Or maybe you're a person that's done a lot of work and you're really comfortable with who you are. And when you look in the mirror, you say, I like that motherfucker. And if that's who you are, maybe what you bring to the fireside chat is, guys, I've done a lot of work on myself and my family, and we're in a place where the household is filled with love, and I'm very proud of myself. But our finances are still struggling, and I have a business idea that I'd like to run by you guys, and I want feedback. Honest feedback. Allow that man to speak his dreams into existence, because there's power in that. How many of you guys listening right now have a dream, a passion project, something that you say in your head, man, one day I'm going to do this, something you're aspiring to do? When's the last time you told someone about it? When's the last time you've talked about it? I'll tell you right now that a lot of circles of men, when someone stands up and says, hey, you know what I want to do, man? I want to open a business and I want to do X, Y, and Z. That's what I really want to do. A lot of times people will almost subconsciously hate on it. Like, bro, you already got a 6-figure job. Why would you need to start over selling some, like, whatever it is, right? Come on, dude. You got good benefits. You got a 6-figure income. Why would you give that up? A lot of times when you speak your passion into existence, people will start poo-pooing on it before they even realize they're doing so. That's not what we do around the fire. I say, why do you want to do that? How long have you wanted to do that? What are some actionable steps that you can write down in your journal now to move the needle even one more click towards making your dream go from being something that's in your mind that's reality? Do you need to burn the boats and abandon your current position to make it happen? Can you figure out how to manage your time to be able to keep your life where it's at now professionally and start building this on the side? And the truth is, I can't answer that for that man. Only he can. But we can have a productive conversation about it. I'm sick of men feeling like they have a fucking muzzle on their mouth and they're slaves to the system. Because the only reason people feel that is because we've allowed ourselves to be enslaved by this system that we inherently know we dislike. I hear it every single day. People want to break out, they want to break the shackles, and they want to start something new. Well, when are we going to do it? Well, it starts with conversation, guys. Conversation is what speaks things into existence. It's on Zeus, for those that know what I'm talking about. So why do we want to do this? And guys, let me say this too. When I speak things into the universe and I say, I want to start a jiu-jitsu academy. I want 200 students. I want 4,500 square feet of mat space. I want a sauna. I want a cold plunge. I want a good kids program. Like, map out what you want and say it. Now, when we speak it into the universe, does that really have any physical or literal translation into that coming to fruition in the physical realm through manifestation, as we call it? The truth is, I don't think we really know. But what is undeniable is manifestation is real. So those two statements may have sounded like they contradicted each other. So let me explain. Perhaps we do manifest things on an energetic level through word. Maybe we can shift energy through thought and word. Or maybe when we speak things to the universe, now the universe has become our accountability partner. I've said it out loud, and now my soul says, you know what? I've spoke it, and now I need to do it. And it just helps you and your soul become the conduit to which brings that manifestation to life. Or perhaps it's a combination of both. But one thing that I know is true is speaking things help bring them into reality. And that's what the fire's for. We are going to speak our truths, we're going to speak our desires, and we're going to find an avenue that helps us with the trajectory of our lives. Now, I'm going to be completely honest because you guys know I'm not a fucking bullshitter. It's one day, guys. It's 10 hours or 14 hours, I mean. It's one day. Are you going to be able to take your entire life and it's going to radically transform in one day? No, it's not going to radically transform in one day. But you know what can radically transform in one day is your perspective, your motivation, your discipline. You actually can change the trajectory of your life with some very powerful decisions and some things that you say, you know what, these are non-negotiables now. This is what I'm going to do. And if you can do that by yourself, by all means, cool. A lot of men have found success and they found ways to get there. And maybe they don't have to lean on others. But for the overwhelming majority of us, the power of a tribe is substantial. The power of a tribe is something that is undeniable. And so part of our fireside chat is like, hey, now write down several actionable steps. What can you do? If you feel like the The flair in your marriage is lacking. What can you do? Not what does your wife do that pisses you off? Oh, that bitch fucking. No. We aren't here to fixate on the problem. We're here to fixate on solutions. So what can you do to make your life better? And then I want to assign accountability partners, all right, for the next 30 days. Weekly check-ins. Let's team up, guys. Who are you with? Who are you with? Who are you with? And over the next 30 days, you check in. You say, all right, you wrote down some actionable steps. Where are you at on those? Did you do them? If you didn't do them, why didn't you do them? Are you falling back into your old ways? Just back into the rut? Or did you come up with a reason why you chose to shift and do something a little different? It's simply connection, guys. If you haven't fucking put that together, that's what I'm getting to here. It's connection. It's human connection. And that is what is going to help most men find themselves. And so we're doing it. Forge Collective. I'm going to put it in the show notes below for today's show. You can check it out and see what's up with it. Again, everything's included. Your guns are included. Don't bring your guns. I don't want your guns. I don't want your ammo. Don't show up here as John Wick. I have 25 Glock 19s. We're going to be good. Okay. And I have a bunch of gun belts. We have my jiu-jitsu mats. Like, you show up ready to train in a comfortable pair of clothes. Bring a pair of shorts and a rash guard for morning jiu-jitsu, or just shorts and a t-shirt, whatever. A towel for the beach, like very, very minimal. A fucking water bottle, and then we go. And we do our day. And I promise you, if you do this day with us, you will not regret it. The reason I think this is important is because tons and tons of people have had pretty profound changes in themselves through going through the Guns and Geese program. But what is Guns and Geese? It's a 3-day immersion course. And for those, I know a lot of you listening have attended, and I've come to realize something. For people to attend a 3-day immersion course, and then you're going to have a travel day on the front end and a travel day on the back end. So now you're looking at a 5-day commitment for a shooting and grappling camp. Do you know who can commit to 5 days? Well, I'll tell you, only the people that are fully bought in to that lifestyle, that fully know, I like shooting, I like grappling, and I want to go learn some stuff. Fully bought into the lifestyle. Every once in a while, we get someone that's like, you know what? I just want to see what's up with this. But what I have found over the course of 11 classes, very few people want to show up and say, hey, I want to see what's up with it, and give that a 5-day commitment. This is 14 hours. It's a 1-day commitment. So the door is open to all of you that have never done a day of jiu-jitsu, that have never held a pistol, that have never sat around a campfire with a group of men and just got raw, that have never done some contrast therapy or some fucking somatic breath work. Come and see for yourself. And I don't think at the end of the day, you will be able to deny the benefit that you received within 1 day. So that's what we're doing, guys. I'm trying to remember. I think we had one more thing to talk about. You know what? We're not going to talk about it because it's already an hour. I went to a heart ceremony over the weekend. I connected to some interesting people, and I was going to talk to you a little bit about that. But the gentleman that really fascinated me is going to come on the podcast, and he's going to talk about brain heart coherence and how we can, I just hit the microphone trying to fucking swat a mosquito out of the way. That's the one animal I don't relocate. All right. I will relocate pretty much any other bug that I find in the studio. But if you're trying to drink my blood, you're fucked. Sorry. Brain or body and mind coherence between your heart and your brain. The brain is always thinking and the heart is always feeling. And he has taken a deep dive into this stuff. And so I got in contact with him. He's going to come on the podcast, talk about that. It's going to be a fascinating story. He had me buy a heart math device, which tracks if you're in your emotional heart or if you are in your thinking brain, or the third option, if you've become proficient at having the energy travel back and forth between the two of those efficiently. And that is optimal from what I understand. But I'm going to leave it at that because that is a lot of stuff that's outside of my wheelhouse. I'll let him speak for himself, but it's fascinating nonetheless. So guys, I know we opened up with a little bit of fuck you energy because I'm still trying to figure out what to do with my fuck you energy. I don't think I want to shelf it completely. I don't think I want to get rid of it completely. I have what I would call control over it to a, not completely, not fucking Gandhi, but I have arrived at a point that I'm pretty proud of. So where do we go next? It's what we should always be thinking about, right? And then I offered a solution to a lot of you guys. And let me tell you this, guys, because I've been paying a lot of money to be in rooms with people that I think I should be in rooms with. And that may sound kind of strange, like, oh, I'm going to buy a lunch with this group of guys, or I'm going to buy a weekend with that group of guys. Buying a spot in a room where you're around the right people is pretty much one of the best investments you can ever do for yourself. And I'm not sitting here telling you it's from like hiring a coach or that kind of thing. I'm literally talking about put yourself out there into situations where you're going to rub elbows with men that will bring value to your life. You start doing that, I promise you, you will not regret it. You know, our course is $850 for the day. That may sound expensive, but I challenge you, go to a gun range and shoot for a couple hours. Rent their guns, buy their ammo, buy their targets, pay their range fee. Tell me where you're at. If you go with a buddy, I tell you, you're probably at fucking $300. So yeah, it's $850, but it includes your ammo and your guns and your range fee and all your meals all day and more and more and more. So value, I promise you, on when it comes to a value exchange, you are getting your value out of this. I promise you. And then also, since this is technically through Forge Ferocity, because we are forging men, but to forge men, I don't feel like I need to have you be part of the program. But if you are part of the program, Forge Ferocity members get $100 off. So it's $750 for the day. And yeah, if that incentivizes you to join, then join. But if not, it's all good. Like, this is not just for members. The last thing I'm going to say is, sorry, ladies, this one's not for you. You know, I already knew Rachel Anderson would be texting me saying, hey, I want to attend. And you know what I told her? You can't attend. And sorry, Rachel, you know we love you. But the truth about men being vulnerable when they're not used to it, and sure, if you're going to ceremonies and you're working on yourself, you may be comfortable being vulnerable in front of both men and women. And if you are, great. But men that are new to the path, the men are new that their voices have been fucking taken from them, and they feel like they have a choker on and they can't speak their truth, they're going to be much more reluctant to speak their truth for the first time when there's a lady amongst us. Why? Because we are chivalrous by nature. We feel like we have to project power and strength to our women. We are the protectors. That's all normal. That's good. I'm not diminishing that. But to fully set your armor down and say, give it to me, guys. I want the truth. Who the fuck am I? And what do I want? It's going to be hard to do that with feminine energy getting mixed in. As you grow, now you're probably going to arrive at a place where you can intermingle and intertwine those two energies while being on the path. But I want to open this up for people that are ready to open up, that may have some reservations, that may have some anxiety around it. And we're not going to make it worse by having women sitting there looking at you, making you feel, I would say, making you feel less than you truly are. Not that the women do that, but that's a story that a lot of men tell themselves in our head. And guess what? Perception's reality. So for that reason, it's men only. And if you don't like that, then go get a sex change, and then maybe I'll consider having you on. But yeah, guys, show notes below. Check it out. Go to the website, see what it's all about. I'm excited for it. There's only 10 spots available, so it's fairly limited. And yeah, we're going to make that happen. So as always, guys, we're at an hour. That's what the solo casts are. I appreciate your support. I appreciate you listening. And again, if you're inclined to share the show, please do, because I think this is a good one to share. Appreciate you guys.